Well, good morning, my friend. Here it is, Wednesday morning. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you with me today as we are in the middle of the week. Hope that your week has been going well. And I'm going to be a rainy day here in the Oklahoma City area. But thank God, no snow. I'm glad about that. Hope that you're having a wonderful week as we continue on. Now, tonight, of course, is Wednesday night Bible study in most churches. And I would encourage everybody to be in their place on Wednesday night Bible study. You may think that you don't need what your pastor's going to teach, but you need it because God commands you to be there. He says, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. Your presence alone is what helps others, and it will help you because you're being obedient to Christ, and likely there's going to be at least one thing said that your pastor's going to teach that's going to help you. So I want to encourage you, make sure that you're in your place. Tonight, of course, here, 7 o'clock. And of course, our teaching sessions all start at 6:15. Encourage everybody to be in their place as we continue to study on the principles to live by, and you be in your place. Well, today, I want to talk about the Noah character. In Genesis chapter 9, or chapter 6 and verse 9, the scripture says, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. Now, one of the greatest characters in the scriptures who's often talked about but not studied is Noah. When God talks about Noah, there are several things about this man that every believer ought to copy. We could talk about how he found grace in the eyes of the Lord in a society that was godless. We could talk about how he walked with God alone in a world that wanted nothing to do with God. We could also talk about how Noah was just in his treatment of people. We could talk about his maturity in that he was perfect in his generations when others around him never grew. Now, all these things are worthy of studying about Noah. But these may not be the greatest character trait of Noah. Let me explain. The one thing I admire about Noah is his stand for right. I want you to follow me. For 120 years, Noah never wavered in his stand for right. He did what was right for this length of time, despite it seeming that God never came through. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord because he walked with God and obeyed God, who gives grace. It would have been easy for Noah to quit, but his character not to be weary in well-doing is what kept his faith strong, that God would come through. Now, do you find yourself beginning to give up on doing right because it seems that God is not doing anything for you? You see, whenever you get to that point that you feel that you're going nowhere, you are at that point when you feel there is no purpose for continuing. When you're at that point, I want to point out that you need to remember the character of Noah, who continued to do right for 120 years, and never, for the 120 years, God did not honor his promise to send rain. Now, were there times in Noah's life that he wanted to quit? I don't know, but I'm sure because he is human, it probably crossed his mind. However, his character to do right was not based on the world around him or God working on his timeline for blessings, but it was based on the fact that it's the right thing to do despite nothing seeming to work out. Now, I want to share a couple of thoughts about how you can embrace this character of Noah in your life. To stand despite never-ending opposition. First, the Noah character does not need ease to do right. Too many quit doing right because it's not easy. But if you are the only one doing right because it is easy, you're going to quit someday. It's just going to happen. Quitting is always in the future. The who only does right when it's easy or convenient. You've got to come to that point where you're going to do right despite how hard it is, and despite the fact that it's not easy to do right. Second, the Noah character has perseverance. Greatness is never discovered in weeks or months, but it's discovered in the decades of doing right without seeing any results. The greatest Christians in the scriptures are those who they never saw the results of doing right, but they persevered and did right because it's the right thing to do. The third, the Noah character found strength in walking with God. The only way you will continue when it seems as if doing right does not pay is by walking with God. The reward of being able to be in God's presence daily should be the only reward you need to do right, even though right does not seem to pay off. Your faith in God's promise to honor doing right is only strengthened by walking with God. You'll never get that Noah character to continue doing right for decades despite no reward without walking with God. My friend, too many Christians give up and quit because, well, God's not doing anything for me, and they expect everything just to fall in their lap. And what we need to do is give them a little bottle and a diaper, put on a spiritual diaper and get a spiritual baba, hold them in our arms and rock them a little bit and say, okay, let me pamper you. Listen to me. We're in a war, a spiritual war, not against people, against Satan. And too many Christians want to be pampered through life. Listen, get over your pampering and understand we've got to do right. You said, but I don't see anything happening good for me. Since when did we do right? Because because I want to get something out of it. I understand all of us tend to have that tendency, but at the end of the day, we do right because it's the right thing to do. Listen to me. I drive down the road and try to keep the speed limit because it's the right thing to do. Not because a policeman is going to pull me over and say, boy, I want to thank you for driving the speed limit. No policeman's ever done that. And I don't expect them to. It's the right thing to do. Somewhere, we've got to get Christians who get some thick skin and say, I want to do right. It's just the right thing to do. Stop your whining. Stop your crying. Stop making everything about you and say, it's the right thing to do, so I'm going to do it. Because that is truly what makes the difference in your life to embrace that Noah character. Man, if we could have some people that had the Noah character, we could turn a world upside down for Christ. Do you have it? Do you have that Noah character, my friend? Is it inside of you? Do you have that character to do it right? I hope you do. Now, let me encourage you. If you're watching and you'll be coming to the Old Paths Conference, would you register right now? oldpathsconference.com. If you're coming, be sure to register now so we can prepare for your coming. We'd love to have you come. March 20, 21, 22. You can go to oldpathsconference.com and read about the conference. Going to have a great year. I'd encourage you to come. But then remember today, be good to everybody. Everybody's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.